Hello, everyone, and welcome to Innovation Coffee. My name is Robert Wolff, your host today and every Thursday at 5 p.m. UTC, bringing you the latest and greatest of what's going on in and around ARM technology. Today, we have a very special episode. In fact, you might be sick of one of our guests already, Darragh Grealish, who joins us quite frequently. He's cheering in the green room right now, watching him here. We're really excited because this year he attended MWC, Mobile World Congress. And this is going to become hopefully somewhat of a tradition, as he also joined us last year to give us a very similar breakdown on what he experienced last year coming out of the heat of the pandemic. Very interesting stuff this year. Lots of really cool stuff was covered. In fact, ARM had a booth as well. So we're going to be joined by Robbie Williamson, too, one of my colleagues at ARM, who happens to be a senior director of infrastructure solutions and engineering. So I'll bring them in the call in just a moment, but I want to cover some of the cool key features or key things that happened at the event really quickly, at least with regards to attendance. So this year, Mobile World Congress had around 61,000 attendees. Now, if we look at the attendees from last year when Darragh joined us, I think it was floating somewhere around 20,000 attendees. This is amazing, right? So back before pandemic, you would see numbers above 100,000 attendees. Last year, 20,000 attendees. This year, over 60,000 attendees. We can see people are starting to feel more comfortable going out and attending these live events, which I'm very excited about. I know people watching are very excited about getting back to live events. And so, we're going to talk to Darragh. We're going to talk to Robbie. We're going to see kind of what the energy was like at this event. We're going to get to talk about a bunch of demos that they saw, that they experienced. And we're going to get to see some cool pictures and videos that Darragh took, similar to what he did last year. So without further ado, I want to bring our guests in. Let's get to know them real quick. And then let's dive into the MWC breakdown. So let's bring Darragh in. There's Darragh. Look at him. And Robbie Williamson. All right, cool. So as I mentioned, Darragh Grealish joining us here, CTO and co-founder of 56K Cloud. Robbie Williamson right over here, Senior Director of Infrastructure Solutions and Engineering at ARM. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Robert.
Yeah. So what we like to do first here, I know Darragh, he's already introduced himself quite a bit. We'll let you do that again, Darragh, but we'll start with you, Robbie. Maybe you can kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do at ARM.
Sure. Yeah. Robbie Williamson, nice to be here. I lead a team of engineers that's kind of focused on what we call the infrastructure segment. So that's cloud, edge, data center, 5G telco solutions. And our goal is to work with partners, end users, to enable both workloads and solutions to take advantage of all the new cool IP coming out in the server space. So that feeds into what we did at MWC, where we worked on a lot of the 5G demos that were showcased. In terms of my background, I've been in ARM for a little over 2 years. Before that, I worked in an edge company, Vapor.io, that's around deploying edge data centers and managing those. And before that, I spent a significant amount of time both at Canonical for Ubuntu Linux distribution and at IBM working in the Cross Linux Technology Center.
Oh, you've been all over the place. By the way, is that a functioning helmet right there?
Yeah,
it opens and everything. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. My son, it stays in here because it wasn't cheap, but it doesn't fit my head. So my younger son walks around, but it's the one that you see in all the YouTube videos. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. All right, cool, Robbie. Yeah, thank you so much for that introduction. I'm sure you had a lot of cool stuff happen at MWC. We'll get right to that in just a moment. Darragh, you're up. And you're muted.
Hey. Yeah, sorry, I'm muted. Hey, did you bring your pack?
No, I didn't bring that thing. That printed out pass. No, I trashed it, man.
yeah, because I kept it for this because that was back. That was great. I mean, I love collecting these things when I go to conferences and everything. And MWC is one of those major events like in a year. And I'm Darragh Grealish from 56K Cloud. Like Robert mentioned, CTO. And also we're also the company's partners with ARM, and we were attending. I was attending, and myself, my colleague Matthias Eckhardt were attending MWC. Actually, we got invited by the Spanish pavilion, so their tickets were sponsored. So I just wanted to say also thank you to Suma Networks for that. That was great. Because being a startup, you can pay up to 4,000 euros for these 4 days to attend such an event. So that's probably something unique with MWC is that it's a very much business focused event. It comes across very tech, of course, but it's like the business cases of the technology implemented in context of mobile technology and the infrastructure to run mobile technology, and like that, all the partners with ARM and AWS, VMware, Dell, Ericsson, Nokia, and then the handsets, as I mentioned. So yeah, we're really happy to be second time attending. Didn't get my talk accepted. Started with that,
but you still got to go.
What?
You didn't get your talk accepted, but you still got to go, which is nice.
You still got to go, but yeah. I did get a meeting with the GSMA. So nice. But anyways, yeah.
Cool. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Yeah, once again, thank you. So we have kind of a list of topics here to talk about, going through kind of what your top 3 favorite demos were, what your top 3 news stories were. Of course, there were some big announcements. Maybe if you had one particular announcement that you enjoyed the most. And then, of course, Darragh, true to fashion, brought us some pictures and a couple videos for us to look at so we can kind of get a little bit of the experience that they had. But let's start with you, Robbie, actually, because, ARM, this is the ARM Innovation Coffee, and ARM had a substantial booth at MWC. So I'm kind of curious, maybe Darragh, if you have a picture, you could pull that up and we can let Robbie kind of talk to us about the booth and how it was structured, what it looked like, and how it felt kind of walking through that booth.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and I mean, I think they'll share it later, but there's also like, ARM marketing actually produced a lot of cool videos as well and posts around this. But yeah, right there, that's our booth. It was kind of showcasing, the 5G was at the center point and it's like radiating out to the rest of the areas. So we were in that pyramid right there. And then, off into the distance on the right, you can kind of make it out. There's the kind of like a living space where we showcase a lot of cool client demos where they had a smart fridge, I think built by Samsung with actually a screen built into the door, a smart TV, tablet, a phone, and it was all playing the same ARM game. It's I think you've showed it in this series before. It's like
it's possible.
Yeah, it's the one that's created by ARM. I can't remember what it's called, like Dr. ARM.
Oh yeah. I think it's called Dr. Arm's Amazing Journey or something like that. Joe Rozek made that game very well, by the way. I like it.
Yeah. So they have that, and we're looking to actually use that in one of our demos that shows like hosted gaming from 5G. But yeah, so they had that whole section running over there. They obviously win on leads because everybody goes over there just because of the curiosity. And then our auto IoT had a smaller section, but they were showcasing the developer workstation they've created for Sophie. That was announced that was like created by AdLink and Ampere, has like an NVIDIA GPU inside. They were showcasing that you could see the inside and how to like leverage that from a developer standpoint. So we had that going on in the front, and in the back we had meeting rooms, of which we were really busy. In terms of and then in terms of what we showcased, we had my own team, selfishly speaking, we showcased some pretty cool things in terms of our 5G lab that was announced, external for partners to come and join in and do some testing and development of overall 5G solutions on ARM, and then some actual hardware. You have to have real servers running in the booth, right, to make it legit. So we actually had 5G stacks running, real radio transmitting to a phone that we enabled with a SIM, streaming gaming. So it's pretty cool in terms of what you could see running on ARM. A lot of interest. A lot of people didn't know. There's still people not who are shocked that we're in servers, right? So the message, even though in the bubble you think everyone should know, but certainly they're like, oh, you guys are beyond smart fridges and sensors. It's like, yes, we have legitimate cloud servers, cloud-based offerings with partners, and we moved significantly up the stack. So it was good to just help get that word out as well.
It is really crazy, definitely. Sorry, Darragh, did you want to say something?
That's there. Look there. I put up the Graviton one.
Oh, nice. Upload. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's bring that in. Yeah. So also we did share a link. Let's post that in the chat as well. There is a link to these demos that Robbie just talked about on YouTube. So you can actually go watch these demos. Someone recorded them. We put them on YouTube, and there it is, bit.ly/ARM-MWC22. So you can go watch these demos now. I think we're going to have some videos. I don't know if we're going to have any of the ARM demos to show on the stream now, but there are some other stuff we're going to show. I saw also the kind of slogan that was on the back of the booth there. It said 200 billion stars in our galaxy, the same amount of ARM chips that have been shipped.
That's
pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. They had that. They had another. They had our sparking,
sparking
potential, and they had another one like on the side. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, the booth was really well done. It was really well done.
Yeah, and soon, in fact, we will have more ARM chips shipped than stars in the galaxy. Maybe we'll have to upgrade that saying to like stars in the visible universe.
yeah. I mean, another big thing was like, all the world's data will pass through, securely processed on ARM. Basically, it's some way or another, right? Which is kind of spooky at the same time when you think about it. But basically because of our ubiquitous IP across various sectors.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. So Darragh, thank you, Robbie, by the way.
No problem.
So Darragh, let's bring you in because I want to talk about demos, and you don't have to focus on the ARM booth. So you can focus on some other stuff. We held Robbie to the ARM booth, but you can focus on some other demos that maybe you saw around MWC. What were your 3 favorite demos that you saw around MWC, and also ARM based demos? Of course.
You're muted, I think, Darragh.
Darragh's muted.
I discovered the local craft bar is running raspberry pints.
How can you tell?
Yeah, because this you can buy this thing that runs on a Raspberry Pi, and it's called Raspberry Pints because it connects to it has
pints.
Yeah. So it connects.
I like that.
These icons here, they are from this interface is actually from an application that runs on, I think, a Raspberry even 3 or 3B plus, and then you can connect the SPI bus to a flow meter, and that flow meter then calculates how much beer is left in each of the taps here.
Interesting. I saw this an ad for a new show. I think it's on Netflix or Prime Now or something like that. But it's about backyard bar wars where like these two friends, they go head to head on who can make the best backyard bar or garage bar. Do you know what I'm talking about, Robbie? Have you seen that?
No, but I mean, I can see that. I mean, that's a big deal now, right? People are just, probably kind of COVID related, right? People just building out their own garage bars and backyard bars that are getting crazy. Like, insane. Yeah.
So there you go. Maybe I'll join that show. I'll use the Raspberry Pints. So this was your favorite demo? That was one of your favorites?
Well, yeah, because it was in the evening and it included beer. Anyways, so there was other cool demos. I mean, AWS had a startup booth there just to connect with the event from last year. So Danielle Royston from Telco Dior, she was coming also there in person because she also had a virtual booth as well. And the nice thing is she's also even sharing her story as founding a SaaS-based tech startup in the telco industry. And there was this like tiny startup booth actually, and the reason why I'm showing it like this is because startups is kind of new thing in telco, and particularly in telco ISV, and I think with the advent of like what ARM's doing with the private 5G solutions lab, bringing those smaller companies together in order to enable the bigger ISV and kind of players in the market, is that actually that's a relatively new sector that's new to cloud technologies on the edge, and they don't have so many I don't have to as much as exposure as the other sectors do, and this is
she's a pretty big deal, isn't she? I mean, she was the keynote speaker last year, if I recall correctly.
Yes, and she also got a really cool talk there as well that I hopefully have a screenshot of, where she got this big drum, this kind of Asian type of drum, and basically, kind of like said, for the next 20 minutes, we're going to just, do a beat to the cloud, that you guys have to go cloud, So what I love about
20 minutes of beat. Okay.
Well, like 20 minutes. I mean, it was like every now and again, and so like this is another cool stand in Nokia. they had like clouds flying above the stand, and they looked like they were moving. The lights shined on them.
Oh,
That made this eerie kind of thing that those are really floating, you know. So, but the reason why I'm showing some of the boots and showing like the startup one open, there's no like kind of, let's say, paywall, because what I did notice at MWC is this year is that, you know, it's a difficult kind of industry to break into. So it was packed. There was a lot of people there. But all of the bigger players like Nokia, AM Docs, Ericsson, I mean, it was ARM, and well, no, ARM was very open, because ARM, you know, you just go there, you can try out the demos, it welcomes everyone. But here you had like a conference within a conference. You know?
Oh, gotcha. Oh, so these are like, this is
these are
Robbie,
huge spaces. Yeah,
these are the ones you were talking about, right? Like the extra large booths.
Like this one, for example, you know, they had this 4D. This is a KUKA robot. It's actually made in Germany, and they basically did a 4D immersive reality. So, you know, you see the screen in the back of what people are looking at. But again, you know, that's just like, you know, call to attention. It's just bringing everyone to the booth, and then everything behind these walls is like invite only. You know.
Gotcha.
So this is, you know, to a totally different kind of event or scale. But that was a really cool booth. That was it was really amazing to see what they were doing. And also, you know, I asked them, are you guys doing anything like specific to 5G on this? And they were like, yes, there's a story there, but not yet, not safe enough for the robot yet.
Yeah, I actually have I have two VR headsets. One's hung up right here, and then one's hung up right over here. I love VR, but you have a video of that robot, right? Or that VR thing, don't you?
Yeah, let me get to the video of it.
Might as well pull it up real quick since we saw the picture.
Here it is.
There you go. I want one of those in my garage right here, so I can ride roller coasters.
So if you imagine the screen had something at the moment there, it wasn't showing what they were seeing. But basically, you are. I think you also have like water spraying at you.
So so it's 4D. Oh, that's why it says 4D metaverse.
Exactly, yeah. Because you have the goggles and you have the whole experience of the sound, vibration, and the kind of cold air and warm air and rain.
Wow.
So
did you get on there? How big was the line?
Oh, it goes around the booth 2 times. No chance. And like even the afternoon on the last day was even reserved just for the people working in the booth, and they had a line. There were so many people.
Wow. Okay.
So let's see them there. Do you see there now? It's docking down, and the platform's going to the floor. But you can rent this thing. I thought you can actually just rent it for your booth. You know.
I wonder how much one of those would cost to buy. It got to be like millions, maybe.
Yeah.
But show you some other booths. So okay, IBM had a booth. They were showcasing the just IBM Max.
I think you muted again. Oh, the microphone maybe ran out of battery completely.
Yeah,
so
I'm old school. I trust cables.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So maybe while we wait for Darragh to fix this up, Robbie, you and I can talk about one of the big announcements that happened over there at MWC, which was from Lenovo, the Lenovo ARM-based ThinkPad. Did you have any chance to look at that?
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, Darragh. Okay, you're back. Yeah. So Darragh, while we were waiting for you, we decided to talk about the Lenovo ThinkPad.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Start.
Can you hear us, Darragh?
He can't hear us.
No, I don't think he can. So it's okay. So Robbie, did you get a chance to look at the Lenovo?
Unfortunately not. I mean, I did know about the announcement. I mean, being the next IBMer myself, and I'm running this. I'm on a ThinkPad right now, right? So that was pretty amazing. It's nice to have not that the other form factors released previously weren't great, but just to have a quote unquote real ARM laptop, it's pretty cool. I think it shows where things are going. I mean, there's a lot of work around improving the performance of Windows on ARM and native performance and things like that Microsoft's been public about, which is great. But unfortunately, I was working a lot in the booth, so it was more of and then there is time to walk around, but I didn't venture that far out. I'm pretty excited about it in terms of just having more choice when it comes to the laptops they would get to use, right?
That's why Darragh is like our surrogate, like he gets to go out and have some of the fun that we don't get to have. I mean, I didn't even get to go, but
like 12-hour shifts, you're in the booth, and then when you do get a break, the last thing you want to do is walk around. You want to go hide somewhere and sit, right? I did get a little bit of chance to walk around.
But so real quick, I want to go through the specs from this laptop and just kind of talk a little bit about it. And then Darragh will come back to those pictures, because I think you actually have some pictures on the laptop, like you went and actually saw it. But yeah, so this is the first ThinkPad with an ARM chipset on it. Now, it's not the first ARM-based Lenovo laptop, because I even have the C630 back here behind me. That was one of the first Lenovo laptops, clamshell, Yoga. But this is the first official ThinkPad, and the ThinkPad is very business-oriented, Windows-based laptop. And so this is kind of like one of the first times where portability, connectivity meets a very business-focused laptop. And there it is. There's a picture of it. So Darragh actually went to the booth, got a picture. I think he has another one that actually shows him pulling up the settings from it. But so this is a 5G clamshell type laptop, and it features the Qualcomm 8CX third generation ARM-based chipset. So very cool. And there's a nice slide to cover that. And just to kind of give you some idea as to how much work went into making sure this laptop is top notch, top quality, top tier, ARM-based, getting out to the public, consumer ready. Lenovo and Microsoft worked together for 4 years to make sure that all the security protocols and everything was in place in Windows to make sure that this ran perfectly on ARM. So, I mean, it's pretty cool to see that this is 4 years in the works, now finally made public. Darragh, did you want to say anything about the laptop?
I wanted to say that it's also it's 5 nanometers. The slide there gives you
here.
And from the kind of like laptop perspective, I mean, it has this concept of always on 5G. So this is based on the Snapdragon platform, and then the Gen 3 is what was integrated into that Generation 1 X13S. So it makes it a bit misleading, because it's built on not the first generation of the Snapdragon, like the Flexbook that Lenovo and Verizon launched last year, which was a millimeter wave as well implementation. This is like maybe three iterations on the Snapdragon platform. So it's also based on the Cortex A7010 and A78. So it's extremely fast in terms of the context of the Cortex ecosystem.
Here you go, Darragh.
Yeah, does it run a link? So I don't know, because ThinkPad. The other thing I want to say about ThinkPad is everyone knows about the big chunky ThinkPad bricks. I just pulled it up. So you know about ThinkPad?
Yeah, I have mine right here. It's my work computer basically.
But this is a X220, if you remember these. And the revolutionary thing about this one is, it's really nice keyboard.
It's a VGA port on it.
Yeah, that's an old version. Yeah. X1 carbons are a lot nicer, but yeah.
But the reason I'm showing you this is because this was one of the most popular laptops for all the X series ThinkPads for Linux. Before you had, people on Intel-based MacBooks and everything. Basically, you had a huge Linux community running on these devices. They had a huge amount of support, and basically Microsoft has fast-tracked that in 4 years. And I think the environment or the community is ripe for a new Linux-based laptop. And ThinkPad has that legacy of being one of the best supported Linux apps out of the box, simply driven from a community perspective.
I mean, if you also take into account the fact that it's a Qualcomm chipset, Qualcomm has put in a lot of effort to make sure that their chips are upstream. So, I would have to say that their chips are upstream.
I mean, as a noted Linux enthusiast, I mean, I run Linux now, right now. I I would expect, if it doesn't work, it'll work very soon, right? I mean, that's just the way the community moves. And again, like you said, the ThinkPad has been one of the key tools that like allowed, the developer to just hack locally from the beginning, right? I mean, not that other brands haven't, your Dells and so forth, but yeah, ThinkPad has always been pretty well, supported across across all distributions. Yeah.
Yeah, like so that's this device. You remember this from Qualcomm?
I sent that to you.
That you said, but that's based on the 700 series of Qualcomm, and and that's a Gen 2. It's work building on a common platform. And I really hope that that we try to learn from the X200, X100, X20, and T60 days of Lenovo with these classic keyboards. I'd love to see a retro reincarnation of ThinkPad on an ARM chip. Wouldn't that be awesome?
So you want
a big clunky laptop for a small?
You want a 6 pound laptop
processor? Yeah, well, they would have to literally put weights in it because
Yeah, well, I mean, this thing you can close it and you can literally stand on the edge with your feet and you won't break it.
It would be pretty cool. I mean, they've brought back a lot of other retro type stuff. I mean, I guess, but you're right. They would probably have to add weights. No, just make it a lightweight, but just the same form factor, sturdy, strong.
Exactly, because the last thing I wanted to say is the screen. So some other cool is Wi-Fi 6E, 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Don't forget that. And it's a 16 by 10 screen. So when we went to widescreen, when people went to before that ThinkPad format, when you like the ThinkPad T60, for example, that was 4 by 30, and what you really liked about that was you had all that room for those tools for the IDE and the kind of taskbar down the bottom. And then when you went to widescreen, it kind of ruined the developer experience. They had to reorganize their Vim and TMUX sessions because suddenly now I could have 2 panes on left and right. But now I lost a good bit of bezel. The bezel was taken up then just because I had they wanted to go this widescreen, and then the HDMI format. Now we're going back to this 1610, which means we're gaining real estate. We're making this, and the screen here is going to be nice and tight, So it's going to be, you have room up here now for the camera. So that's another cool thing. It has, I think, a 5 or 6 megapixel camera, so it can do what the desk camera here that's doing on the conference PC. So that's a huge win, and the battery life, So
battery life with connectivity, mind you, right? So I mean, you're talking about always connected, 5G, always connected. I mean, and that's one of the biggest things. You carry your phone around and you don't really think unless you're out in the desert or something, you don't think oh, am I going to be able to open up my browser right now? If you have your plan set up on your laptop, you are literally connected to the internet, just like your phone would be connected to the internet, and you get to just take it anywhere you want. No need to hook up to any public Wi-Fi at the coffee shop or anything. You're just connected. So, and the battery life is multiple days. I mean, I experienced this on my C630. I've experienced it on other ARM-based laptops as well. And I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dar, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Let's try get this thing on the show. I would
get the laptop on the show. I don't know. Let me try to see if I can find any Lenovo connections.
So yeah. If anyone from Lenovo is listening to us, let's do a review, because this was actually virtually launched. So I think there was maybe 1 or 2 between the Qualcomm booth and Lenovo participated virtually, but they were in person. And it was actually done on a side event in New York. Now they said it's going to hit like Verizon and AT&T somewhere in July, but it should be available around April. That's what I've read, end of April. And by the way, they also launched about 4 other laptops. All the other range of laptops. But what they did is they took the experience of this laptop, which is fully integrated connectivity, same platform, and then actually now mapped those successes into the other bigger Novas. So yeah, that's it. I think it's great because now what you're getting is the kind of what we're seeing with Graviton in the cloud, Ampere, everything, really getting those 32 to 64 cores, like you saw the automotive demo in the ARM booth. That's got a 32 up to 128 cores you can do on that. And then at the same time, you got the phones, with everyone using Android NDK, for example, to get to build natively ARM, a code in there with the laptop in between, and this ecosystem needs to grow. And we all know the shiny other laptop that's also somewhat based on that from big brands. I mean, yeah, like I said, the community and I think the ecosystem is ripe to see ARM mature on the desktop.
So I want to use this as an opportunity to segue into 5G related discussion here. And luckily we have Robbie on the call to talk about 5G stuff around the 5G lab. So this was something that you were showcasing at the ARM booth, right? And I'm kind of curious. Could you tell us a little bit more about what this 5G solutions lab is? Let's take the bird's eye view, and then maybe if you could dive a little deeper.
Yeah. So I mean, as we started developing, trying to port and optimize and develop solutions for 5G on ARM, we have our own lab internally, but it's really, especially within the telco space, it's just a lot of partners, on the hardware and the software side. Getting them together to kind of work through solutions is difficult behind a firewall. So, one of the drivers was, can we establish this external lab, partner lab, where we would get, ARM servers and other hardware in there that other partners can come in, so the software vendors specifically to kind of prove out their solutions. Typically your hardware vendor is going to have their own lab. They don't need the help, but what they do need help is to have all these independent software vendors kind of get together and so forth. So the idea was to start this external 5G solutions lab. It's based out of an old AT&T research lab, I believe, in New Jersey, now ran by a SI partner called Tech Mahindra, who's well known across multiple verticals as well as in the telco space. They do a lot of solutions integrations and deployments for enterprises and in the telco space. So we partnered with them because it allows us to kind of manage and run the lab. I don't have to be sending engineers in New Jersey all the time in terms of deployment and setup, but it also allows them to kind of take the solutions that we graduate into that lab and kind of start talking to various partners that they work with and the customers to see where, to gain input in terms of how we can improve them, and also kind of start seeding these solutions. So it's a great opportunity to showcase, the entire end-to-end stack of ARMs running in a 5G, talking about Open RAN, on the RAN, DRAN, DU solutions, and so forth. So we have a huge amount of interest. It's so much that we're having to qualify, who can really get in there and who can't, just because, as we ramp up. It's only been really officially announced since October, but it's been it's really great. I mean, again, it allows us to kind of build our true ecosystem and has a place where people can kind of collaborate together. So
what are some of the criteria? And thanks, by the way, that was a great explanation. What are some of the criteria for people to apply for this lab? I mean, is this something that we're looking for, developers, grassroots developers out there, or are these more people who are developing products? What are the?
That's a good question. I wasn't really involved in terms of the screening of it, but I mean, generally, we're looking for folks who are serious about trying, with their stack, with what they've done, it's, and who are most likely already involved in some way with a partner or with a solution that they're trying to get their foot in the door. I mean, we're not, a startup that's interested. If the product makes sense, we'll see if we can get it in there, right? I mean, it's really about availability in the hardware and what we're trying to do in overall as an overall ecosystem. So, I think there was discussions on one of our websites on how to apply and how to get interested in that. If not, I can probably send you some.
We posted. We had a link up there just a second ago for the 5G
okay, good,
solutions.
good,
yeah,
right.
So,
and like I said, I mean, it's kind of where we want to take it. We just started it, so we're trying to ride this thing, as far as it can go. But again, the idea is to kind of partner with the right folks to get these solutions proven, ideally productized in a sense, and to really just grow the consumption of there's the videos.
There's Alakik.
Yeah. one of my senior guys. He's in Hawaii right now, relaxing.
I tried getting him on the call. Oh, so he's in Hawaii. That's why he didn't answer.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm one of the few people who had to come back and work. Like I get ready for GDC in a couple weeks.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
So they're gonna see that, like, to give you an idea. I think the hardware side, it'll show here in the video the equipment that was in there. So there,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it gives you a scale.
And it's ironic that Benatel radio out there, you know, the 5G signal was only about 5G within about 4 feet because it was so shielded with that casing. We didn't really think that through. So, you know, it was like 2G by the time you got to where the demo was. So we had to kind of stand really close to it. But I don't know if they showcased it in this video, but we were leveraging a partner solution from Canonical called Ambox Cloud, where it allows you to host Android containers in a cloud or on bare metal and stream that over Wi-Fi or a 5G connection to multiple phones. And it's pretty amazing. Like I'd seen it in videos, but to see it up front, I mean, I was playing a game on an Android-based phone. You would have thought I was playing natively, right? And it was smooth, and it was really running over a 5G stream that we created end-to-end ARM, right? So it was pretty,
very cool.
Yeah, I think you did have that there. I remember.
Yeah, we had it there. Yeah. It was cool. And we'll also be showcasing it at GDC in a couple of weeks for anyone who's attending that. It won't be over 5G though. I took that out. We just do the Wi-Fi at GDC. They don't care so much about that part.
Where's GDC being held?
Moscone. It's in San Francisco.
Oh, okay, close.
Yep. I'm gonna have a significant presence there too.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like, you know, Robert, just to add like a use case. So, you know, we were there also for interest with the lab and investigating how we can, you know, build our like developer tooling on top of the lab and you know, if you try to go to a mobile operator or like to like a private 5G network and you want to build on top of that customer, one of the challenges there is you know, you need to build up this infrastructure. They might have to be already using the live network. You might have to figure out who's the partners to work with, like the Benatel antennas, like the CUDU. And you know, our focus is not that. Our focus is probably the APIs they expose. You know,
I guess for this is kind of the perfect example of a use case of a user or a company that would be interested in this lab. Sorry, Darragh, but
No, I mean, not to cut you off, but that's what, you know, when we talk to the telcos and the hardware vendors, they're like, look, we have our own stuff, but what we really need is to enable the solution, you know, the software ecosystem around it. And if you could help drive that, that would be amazing, because we can't be sending out equipment to everybody, but to have a place where people can go and collaborate. And that's the part that needs the most work is that entire software stack. So that's the point. Yeah.
So you heard of the Magma project, for example?
Yeah.
So that's like kind of Facebook's approach to open up and democratizing connectivity. Then there's the ORAN with Open RAN.
Yeah, the ONF, we recently rejoined ONF. I don't know if that was announced, but and they have we're going to be working closely with them as well to enable some of their solutions on ARM and kind of work with other partners to kind of get that deployed out in the field. They announced a pretty cool announcement with DT. It was all Intel based, but where they basically deployed like this entire 5G, little stack that they had developed using ONF platform with radios and everything. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Mac, they did a Alukeek, the same person in that video did a workshop at ARM Dev Summit last year using the community hardware lab that we have with mini nodes in Arizona. He did it all on the Raspberry Pis. We issued out like 50 Raspberry Pis to the folks who took his workshop.
So just to mention something, like you see here is the drawing of like the components in the lab and what you saw on the rack. So like there's the Benatel antenna and everything, and something like we've been looking into is in the DU component here. This is like, you have the antennas up on the poles. Then you have a distribution unit that then plugs into all those radios, and they have to manage the things called like the physical layer and stuff. And then that connects into the cloud, or can be in this case, in this demo, like it's localized environment here, to show like a network in the box. If you're going in there and you're focused, like you said, like Robbie's saying, on the software side, but you need to consume certain components in the GU, but in order to validate your solution and build the confidence with maybe your customer or the target environment and vet that out, because this could be used in emergency services, for example. And there you need to reach a 59s confirmation goal. You need to reach certifications and stuff, and you can get so far with simulations and emulations of other devices. But like, for example, like the Magma project, if you want to kind of, like, say, make that productive ready, then this is where, it's a perfect use case, because instead of having to invest in all those surrounding components, knowing that you only need the lab for maybe that point of development, you can use
and to add to that, you also get access to engineers with an arm who can actually help you in terms of if you run into roadblocks, right, in terms of the technology, the port, and so forth. So it's great for us.
Yeah. So here's an example. Here's this exactly. These are
yeah.
So do you recognize those, Robbie? Or
yeah, I do.
So you had also ones where you can. You guys have. I think this was one of your ones are here, or that's the Marvell.
Yeah, it's from Dell. Yeah, it's the Marvell Accelerator. I think they announced, right, the RAN Accelerator that Dell just recently announced.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and then you guys had also had ones in your booth with the
from Marvell.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So
a lot of interest in that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's in the lab again, I guess, as well.
Cool. So real quick, you two, I think maybe at this point, let's just kind of start winding down and closing out the episode. I think we covered all the main points here, talking about the cool demos, the news stories. We covered the laptop, 5G lab, the ARM booth. I think maybe the last thing, Darragh, because you have a lot of pictures that maybe we haven't seen yet. Do you want to just kind of comb through your pictures real quick? Just give us the story, and then we can do our shameless plugs and
yeah, I think we also should end with just one or two words about the metaverse as well.
Of course.
Oh, yes.
It's not a technology conference without mentioning the metaverse.
Okay, metaverse. Let's go. Darragh, start.
So I was like, all eyes on metaverse and anything to do with NFT and how those hyped kind of technologies are floating around with the operators and the larger ISVs or technology providers and operators, because it's kind of like here's the public cloud, here's the evolution of phones, and one of the interesting outcomes, because some people go there purely understanding the phones, the handsets, and what's coming out there, and there was like OPP and S22 Ultra was launched, all of that kind of stuff, and again, a lot of the feedback was, since 15 years, what we've been doing is just basically getting bigger cameras, bigger displays, more interesting displays, making them flip and everything. And the feedback was that there's nothing really new or revolutionary yet. The economy or the kind of community is trying all various different things. But some feedback I got and some impressions was that people are not seeing yet a new kind of flagship experience or kind of killer experience, and metaverse is floating around there. And I was in one of these sessions actually, and it was not really a recorded session, but you have to think the age group from here is like 35, maybe 40 up to late 50s. That's the kind of age group you get, and these people are excited to be back. Like really excited. They're like, Jesus, business cards, everything, shake in the hand. Even though we had to wear FFP2 masks, and they're just shaking the hand. No one said we can't, and then taking pictures of things. And I was there in this kind of session, and this lady, what do you think of the metaverse? Do you think, you guys are going to adopt it and bring it? And I was like, kind of taking his hat off or whatever he had. He says, we spend 2 years in front of a computer for almost 9 hours a day, 4 hours of Zoom calls. Do you want me in a headset now to close off my head and not be on a plane 2 times a month? I said, I love this. This is me. I thought it was such a funny comment, because you had just 2-3 generations of difference, and it's. The real events are back. That's why it was 61,000 people. Everyone was boots on the ground. Of course, there was kind of the disappointment with the whole drama over in the Europe and everything. That some travel wasn't there, so there was empty spaces in certain locations, which I don't think it's fair for the individuals involved. But yeah, you could see a little bit of an influence in it, and people weren't ignoring it. So people were going around with the Ukrainian colors and everything on it. So that was kind of full respect for people putting out an effort for that, for sure. And then what else on the metaverse? Yeah, there was this. So back onto the kind of developer topic. I got the impression that there's a lot of opportunity floating around, and yes, not the kind of meat on the bone in terms of how are we monetizing on top of 5G. How is both, like, now private 5G is a huge topic, private 5G and edge cloud. This, it was all about connectivity, or CloudNet was the track that focused on cloud and cloud technologies on the edge. What I found is that the operators are kind of scared or trying to look for new business value, new B2B to X opportunities, and that is where they can monetize on top of a lot of these new technologies. They need reasons to bring that, co-investment, that investment to bring the reason to go to 5G. Apple's recent announcement with the phone, they're not putting millimeter wave in there because it's not proven enough. But with the Lenovo laptop you saw, it will be millimeter wave because you sit on a table, and so it's maturing the use cases. But again, everyone's doing this use case searching. And metaverse is seen as kind of like to try and be the goal there. And I think what's missing is that the event doesn't have enough developers. I think it needs fresh talent, and like I mentioned at the beginning call, telco is just one of those industries that is still lagging behind the autonomous that individual contributors and developers have, that the open source world has managed to bear fruit to.
But so Darragh, I mean, a $1.6 million virtual condo just sold in Metaverse.
Yeah, it's crazy. So look, I mean, I have a little history here. I used to be back in IBM. Back in IBM when there was like the was it Second Life, right? And there was
Second Life.
Yeah, I did a lot of projects while at IBM there. Yeah, I mean, I think Meta did put out a pretty good article around some of the constraints and requirements of what 5G and edge cloud will do, for just because of the amount of data that needs to travel, right? And, in terms of the expansion. Darragh mentions, like, the older people not wanting to be in front of a screen, but my 12-year-old sticks that Oculus on his face for hours, right? One of the games he plays is poker, which doesn't need virtual VR at all, but he still does it, right? I mean, so I think there are definitely generational gaps in terms of people who think it's far-fetched versus real use cases. I think augmented reality is where you get to the real business use case, where you're actually able to overlay technical things in terms of from a maintenance standpoint, or if you're a doctor or whatever. And there were a lot of good solutions around that are being showcased in terms of real use cases for augmented reality versus a full submersion in VR, which I think will probably be the first step towards the whole metaverse, Ready Player One world.
I want full submersion, right? So like, I don't know if even Ready Player One doesn't cover it. By the way, one of my favorite books. The movie, I don't really care so much for, but the book, my goodness. But so like when you talk about there's an anime called Sword Art Online. They put on this kind of headset, same thing, but it like spinal taps you, right? Yeah. And you literally go kind of unconscious into this VR world. You are fully submersed. VR headsets haven't nailed that, right? Like you still draw your boundaries, set your floor, set your floor and all that kind of stuff. And you still know that you're not in that space. They try to get you, but you still don't feel fully there. I want full submersion.
So you want that robot then?
I want what?
You want the robot?
I want the robot. I want the works. I want the Matrix. I want the voluntary Matrix. Like
exactly. That's the problem. Right.
I'm thinking you're going to be in a dry suit with the VR glasses in the water. And somehow, you can be put out of the water.
You don't need a haptic suit. You don't need haptic gloves, because it's literally communicating with your brain. It's sending the signals to your brain. So you feel it's the Matrix. Yeah. That's full submersion VR.
The new Upload. You heard the
Upload? Yes. I watched that show. They're coming out with season 2.
Yes.
But Upload, you have to die to go into Upload. It's a little different.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is, one of my I lost it. Yeah, so that was the video of the robot. I was thinking like, you want one of these robots,
Yeah, that's not full submersion. That's
No.
4D.
Yeah, he's not. I know what he's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, we need another MWC to get into this then.
Well, there was the inaugural Metaverse Global Congress announced. I don't know if you got that email, Darragh. I did.
Yeah.
It's they announced that for this summer in San Jose. Robert, you can go up there and check it out. I don't know what.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like kind of like a.
It's real in person, but about metaverse, and it covers the economy, the technology, the ethics. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
We also got. So should we get one done by the robot, one done by this? So we got a robot beer just to. Did you see this, Robbie?
I like that metaverse too.
No, I didn't.
This was done well. I mean, they didn't have to do anything to the beer tap. Right? They literally followed the skill of a person pouring a beer.
Is that a plastic cup or is that like an aluminum cup? It looks kind of looks.
It's a really cool. I didn't bring it there. I kept them. They were.
Yeah, they look aluminum.
Yeah, and you could like stack them real nice, and there was a little depot. They were quite cool. But I wanted to like end in a funny photo. To give an idea of
and in with the funny photo, but also show the one photo that you got at the ARM booth with all of our coworkers, and then we can close it out for the hour.
Oh, I'm not sure. Okay, so antennas and toothbrushes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Oral B the toothbrushes.
Yeah.
And then across the boot was advanced beam management alignment sector antennas, passive arrays. So it's a massive long word like that. If those things up in the towers, if you think they're just big plastic, big huge pieces of plastic and copper, this is basically ones with perspex in front of it, which these tiny little arrays. So like Starlink on steroids, and then that one in the back here with this kind of it has a gimbal, and the thing physically moves. And I think that was one of my amazing takeaways is that people, they could install antennas on like on a mountain ridge where you might have people skiing during the day up in the mountain, and then when they're going down to the village and the density in the village is higher, the antenna can physically move about 20 degrees, and then it creates more density. And they're building this for use cases like this and for what's it called for sports stadiums, and
apparently for toothbrushes.
Yeah.
That just tells you some people know that MWC is just like a meeting point, right? So if you could get in there with any way, I guess those must have been Wi-Fi toothbrushes or something. But yeah, I didn't see that.
So Darragh, let's see the last picture here of the you at the ARM booth with some of our colleagues, and then I'm going to close it out for everyone.
I didn't upload it.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
No, there's plenty of content out there. Yeah. The ARM team marketing team did a great job of actually doing a lot of work there. So
we'll get it shared up there. So gentlemen, last thing here, shameless plug. This is your opportunity, real quick. If you have one place, one thing you want to tell the viewers to go see, what would that be? Let's start with you, Robbie.
I think that's it. I mean, the MWC website, check out the videos. I think the YouTube streams that our marketing team put together will really cover a lot in terms of what we're doing across not just infrastructure, but client, auto, and IoT. There's, our GMs were there, and that's a significant investment for them. So I would say check this out. Absolutely, those are really great videos that showcase everything that we're doing across.
Excellent. Yeah, there it is, bit.ly/ARM-MWC22. Thank you, Robbie, so much. Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for, by the way, Robbie took this call with 15 minutes notice, right? So he joined on the spot. Darragh knew about it a few days ago or last week, but Robbie joined on the spot. So thank you so much, Robbie.
Yeah,
no problem.
And Darragh, how about you, sir? What would you like to plug here?
I think certainly watch the Web3 telco and metaverse space. I think that what's coming is, and especially that link there, that talk from Telefonica, is that the industry is maturing and understanding that we can't go directly to use cases here. We need to build the tools to enable the opportunity to discover these new use cases, and that means that the tech industry needs to be more aligned, more open, and see kind of developers, individual contributors, in the center stage there. So yeah, and metaverse is not like the end goal. It's, let's say, one of the use cases, the path to find something ultimate there. So yeah, that was.
And I'm gonna plug this for you too, Darragh, because I don't know if you didn't feel like doing it, but also go to 56k.cloud. That's his company. So go check out 56k.cloud. Check it out. They do some great stuff.
You can have a dedicated 5G webpage.
There you go. So
5G.dev. Let me just send you the link. 5G.
Right, we'll put that one. Oh, there you go. 5G.dev. So we'll put that one up there too. Rachel will take care of that while I say the closing announcements here. Yeah. All right. So
no questions.
No questions. Well, one question did come in, but it wasn't so relevant. So yeah, we'll take that in the comments later or on Discord. So I'm going to close this out. First and foremost, Darragh, Robbie, thank you so much for taking the time. I know an hour is super valuable, your time. All of our viewers out there, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you spending it with us. I mean, it's just awesome having you here, watching it, hearing about MWC and all the cool stuff that's going in and around ARM. So thank you. And we will be back next week at 5 p.m. once again, UTC. If you liked this video and you enjoy these live streams, don't forget to smash that like button. It really helps us out. And if you want to follow us and all the other cool things that we're doing in and around ARM's ecosystem, all the developer cool stuff that we end up putting out there usually ends up on YouTube one way or another. So subscribe to the ARM Software Developers YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Twitter at ARM Software Dev. Thank you once again, and we'll see you next week. Robbie, Darragh, have a great week, great weekend. Everyone watching, take care. Thank you.
All right. Cheers.